Is AI making us dumber? No, it's elevating our thinking to new heights. By H. L. Watson. The late afternoon sun filtered through my study window, casting long shadows across stacks of research papers and trading charts. A familiar tableau of chaos that somehow makes perfect sense when you're wrestling with ideas that matter. I'd been debating this question with an AI for the better part of a week, ironically enough, and the conversation had crystallized something I'd been sensing for months. We're asking the wrong question entirely. The fear that artificial intelligence is turning us into intellectual pudding isn't new. It's just the latest chapter in humanity's long running anxiety about tools that make life easier. But after years of watching markets adapt to algorithmic trading, seeing blockchain technology reshape entire industries, and witnessing the quiet revolution of AI assisted creativity, I've reached a firm conclusion that runs counter to the prevailing narrative of digital doom. AI isn't making us stupider. In fact, it's doing something far more profound. It's freeing us from the cognitive drudgery that has constrained human potential for generations, pushing us toward higher level thinking in ways that amplify our creativity and strategic capacity. Sure, there are risks, lazy shortcuts, and intellectual complacency. Chief among them, but that's human nature, not an AI problem. We've weathered this storm before with every major technological shift, from the printing press to the personal computer. And history tells us we don't just adapt, we evolve and emerge stronger. My thesis cuts against the grain of contemporary hand-wringing. AI doesn't erode our intelligence, it reallocates it. By handling the tedious, repetitive cognitive work that drains our mental bandwidth, AI liberates us to focus on the complex, fulfilling tasks that truly challenge our minds. It's the difference between being a factory worker, assembling widgets, and being the manager who orchestrates entire production systems. You might lose some hands-on mechanical skills, but you gain a far more sophisticated set of cognitive tools. In a world where most work is necessity rather than passion, where few of us have jobs we'd pursue without compensation, this shift represents an opportunity to make human endeavor more meaningful. The delegation advantage, reclaiming mental real estate. The core objection to AI delegation runs something like this. By offloading cognitive work to machines, we're weakening our retention, critical thinking, and problem-solving abilities. We memorize less, struggle less, and increasingly skim surfaces rather than diving deep. The fear is that over time, this creates a kind of intellectual atrophy, minds that have grown soft from disuse, dependent on artificial crutches. This argument sounds reasonable until you examine it closely. Psychologists have long understood that human working memory operates under severe constraints. John Sweller's cognitive load theory demonstrates that our minds can only juggle so many elements simultaneously before performance degrades. By offloading routine calculations, data processing, and basic information retrieval to AI systems, we're not weakening our cognitive muscles. We're strategically reallocating scarce mental resources toward higher order thinking. Consider the calculator controversy of the 1970s. Critics worried that students would lose fundamental math skills if machines handled arithmetic. Instead, research revealed that calculators freed students to focus on conceptual understanding and complex problem solving. Rather than weakening mathematical thinking, the tools enhanced it by removing computational barriers to deeper exploration. Today's AI revolution follows a similar pattern, but at a vastly expanded scale. McKinsey's 2023 research suggests that generative AI could automate up to 70% of routine business activities: document summarization, basic correspondence, data analysis, potentially freeing 60 to 70% of worker time for strategic thinking. This isn't intellectual surrender, it's cognitive optimization. In my own writing practice, I've experienced this shift firsthand. I draft initial concepts and structure, then leverage AI for expansion and refinement. Far from making me lazier, this process often demands more sophisticated oversight, thinking about tone, audience, narrative arc, and deeper meaning, while the AI handles surface-level polish. The mental energy previously consumed by routine editing and formatting now flows towards strategic considerations. What story am I really telling? How can I make this argument more compelling? What am I missing? This pattern extends across industries. Software developers using GitHub Copilot report spending less time on boilerplate code and more time on architecture and creative problem solving. Financial analysts use AI for data processing while focusing on interpretation and strategy. The cognitive load shifts upward, not downward. Critics dismiss this as illusory progress. We're supposedly fooling ourselves into thinking we're doing higher work when we're merely distracted. But this objection mistakes struggle for substance. Our brains didn't evolve for endless toil. They evolved for adaptation and optimization. When we delegate routine cognitive work to AI, we're not atrophying. We're optimizing for the challenges that matter most. Automation parallels. Why this fear isn't new. The anxiety about AI making us mentally lazy echoes every previous automation panic. Self-driving cars will dull our navigational instincts. GPS systems have already weakened our sense of direction. Calculators have made us mathematically dependent. The pattern is familiar. New tools that reduce cognitive load trigger fears about mental decline. But consider the wealthy individual with a chauffeur. Does delegating driving make them less capable overall? Hardly. They reallocate that mental energy toward reading, planning, conversation, or rest. The cognitive capacity isn't lost, it's redirected. Driving skills may atrophy, but other capabilities expand to fill the space. MIT's research on automation in aviation provides a useful parallel. As autopilot systems became more sophisticated, critics worried that pilots would lose essential flying skills. What actually happened was more nuanced. While manual flying skills did decline somewhat, pilots developed superior oversight and troubleshooting abilities. They became better at managing complex systems, diagnosing problems, and making strategic decisions under pressure. The cognitive demands shifted but didn't diminish. David Otter's research at MIT reveals a similar pattern across economic history. His task reallocation effect shows how automation typically displaces specific tasks rather than entire jobs, forcing workers to develop new capabilities. During the Industrial Revolution, machines eliminated countless manual labor jobs, but created demand for supervisors, engineers, and managers. Agriculture dropped from 40% of the U.S. workforce in 1900 to under 2% today, yet unemployment didn't skyrocket. Labor simply flowed toward new industries requiring different skills. AI follows this historical pattern, but with a crucial difference. It's not just automating physical tasks, but cognitive ones. This creates unprecedented opportunities for intellectual elevation. Rather than competing with machines on routine processing power, humans can focus on areas where we excel: creativity, emotional intelligence, ethical reasoning, and strategic thinking. The key insight is that managing AI effectively requires deep knowledge and sophisticated judgment. You need to understand systems well enough to monitor outputs, catch errors, make adjustments, and guide overall direction. A senior software developer managing AI code generation needs broader expertise than someone writing every line manually. They must understand architecture, anticipate edge cases, and ensure coherent design across automatically generated components. Management versus machines: the art of sophisticated oversight. The comparison between managing AI and managing human teams reveals striking parallels. Senior managers don't become less intelligent when they delegate detailed work to subordinates. They develop different, often more complex skills. They learn to communicate vision, evaluate performance, coordinate across systems, and make strategic decisions with incomplete information. AI management demands similar capabilities but with unique challenges. Human employees can clarify ambiguous instructions, push back on problematic requests, and learn from feedback. AI systems require more precise direction and constant oversight. This places greater demands on human managers, not fewer. In my writing workflow, I spend considerable time crafting detailed prompts, essentially teaching the AI my vision, style preferences, and strategic objectives. This process resembles briefing a talented but inexperienced assistant who needs explicit guidance to produce useful work. The cognitive effort shifts from mechanical execution to strategic communication and quality control. GitHub's 2023 developer survey reveals this pattern broadly. 88% of developers using AI assistants reported improved productivity, while 74% said AI allowed them to focus on more satisfying work. But this productivity boost came with a caveat. Developers needed to invest significant effort in prompt engineering, code review, and system integration. The most successful users developed sophisticated oversight skills that went far beyond traditional programming. Different AI models exhibit varying personalities based on their training data, forcing users to understand these nuances and adjust accordingly. Why did the AI choose this approach over that one? What biases might be embedded in its responses? How can I guide it toward better outputs? These questions demand deep engagement with both the technology and the underlying problem domain. The feedback loops are different but equally valuable. Human teams provide pushback and alternative perspectives. AI systems reveal patterns in data and generate unexpected connections. Both require active management, but AI oversight often demands broader knowledge and more systematic thinking. You're not just managing a person, you're managing a system that embodies collective human knowledge, filtered through complex algorithms. Innovation from building blocks. The false myth of starting from scratch. One persistent criticism of AI assistance is that it somehow diminishes the authenticity of creative work. The argument goes that using AI means you're not forging your own thinking or creating genuinely original ideas. This objection misunderstands how innovation actually works. Isaac Newton's famous observation that he stood on the shoulders of giants captures a fundamental truth. Breakthrough discoveries almost always build on existing knowledge. Scientific progress is cumulative and collaborative. Even the most revolutionary insights typically combine existing elements in novel ways rather than emerging from complete originality. Consider the process of building a house. Architects don't smelt their own nails, cut trees into lumber, or manufacture concrete from raw materials. They work with pre-existing components, combining them according to their vision to create something functional and beautiful. The value lies not in making every component from scratch, but in the design, integration, and overall execution. AI functions similarly. You provide the conceptual blueprint, your ideas, vision, and strategic direction, while the AI helps with execution and elaboration. The most effective AI users develop sophisticated prompting skills that rival programming in complexity. I'm not talking about casual users who input 10-word requests for generic content. I mean the practitioners who craft detailed 500 to 1,000 word prompts with specific instructions, examples, and iterative refinement processes. Research published in Nature during 2023 found that scientists using GPT-4 for brainstorming generated 42% more original ideas compared to control groups. Crucially, human oversight remained essential for evaluating and refining these ideas. The AI amplified creative output, but human judgment determined quality and direction. The collaboration between human creativity and AI capability often produces results that neither could achieve alone. In financial modeling, I've used AI to process vast data sets and identify patterns, but the strategic interpretation and investment decisions remain fundamentally human. The AI provides sophisticated raw material. I provide wisdom, judgment, and accountability. This partnership model appears across disciplines. Drug discovery teams use AI to propose molecular structures, then apply human expertise to evaluate viability and safety. Architects use AI for initial design exploration, then apply aesthetic judgment and practical knowledge for refinement. The pattern is consistent. AI handles pattern recognition and generation, while humans provide strategic direction and quality control. The art of prompt engineering, a new literary discipline. The emergence of prompt engineering as a distinct skill set reveals the sophistication required for effective AI collaboration. Far from dumbing down human capabilities, this discipline demands precision, creativity, and deep understanding of both language and domain expertise. Ethan Mollick at Wharton describes prompt engineering as learning to manage a very capable but inexperienced employee. This analogy captures the essential challenge: communicating complex ideas clearly enough that an intelligent but literal-minded system can execute your vision effectively. The best prompts combine technical precision with creative insight, requiring practitioners to think more systematically about their own expertise. Professional prompt engineering courses now appear on platforms like Coursera and LinkedIn Learning, reflecting growing recognition that this represents a genuine technical skill. Harvard Business School's 2023 study of management consultants using AI found that those with effective prompting techniques completed tasks 25% faster, while producing work rated 40% higher in quality. But this advantage emerged only among consultants who invested time in developing sophisticated AI interaction skills. The writing process with AI assistance resembles a complex dance between human creativity and machine capability. Initial drafts emerge from human insight and strategic thinking. AI expansion and refinement require careful oversight and iterative improvement. The final product reflects both human vision and AI capability, but human judgment guides every step. This collaborative model challenges traditional notions of authorship while potentially expanding creative possibilities. Just as photographers don't diminish their artistry by using sophisticated cameras rather than pinhole devices, writers using AI tools aren't necessarily compromising their creative integrity. The key lies in maintaining agency over strategic decisions while leveraging AI for tactical execution. The cryptocurrency and blockchain space offers useful parallels. Smart contract developers use automated tools and libraries extensively, but the most successful projects require deep understanding of economics, game theory, and human behavior. The automation handles routine coding tasks, while humans focus on system design and strategic implementation. Technical sophistication increases rather than decreases. Human nature and the inevitable shortcuts. Every technological advancement creates opportunities for misuse alongside legitimate applications. AI is no exception. Some users will inevitably take lazy shortcuts, producing low-quality work with minimal effort. But this reflects human nature rather than technology's inherent flaws. Consider the broader economic landscape. Despite unprecedented opportunities for wealth creation through internet entrepreneurship, cryptocurrency, and digital markets, some individuals still choose scams and criminal activity for quick profits. This behavior is irrational from an economic perspective, but predictable from a psychological one. Humans aren't always rational actors, and we can't engineer systems that eliminate every possibility for misuse. The differential adoption effect observed by behavioral psychologists applies directly to AI usage. Motivated individuals use new tools to amplify existing capabilities and develop additional skills. They invest time in learning effective techniques, building sophisticated workflows, and maintaining quality standards. Meanwhile, others seek minimum effort shortcuts and produce inferior results. This divergence isn't a bug, it's a feature of competitive markets. In creative industries, reputation and quality matter enormously. Writers, designers, consultants, and other knowledge workers who consistently deliver excellence build valuable personal brands and command premium pricing. Those who rely on automated shortcuts without human insight typically produce generic work that commands generic compensation. The blockchain and cryptocurrency markets provide clear examples of this dynamic. Sophisticated traders who understand technology, economics, and market psychology consistently outperform those seeking quick profits through speculation or scams. The tools available to both groups are essentially identical, but knowledge, judgment, and effort determine outcomes. AI usage follows similar patterns. Surface level users might generate basic content quickly, but they struggle to produce work with genuine insight, strategic value, or emotional resonance. Meanwhile, practitioners who combine AI capabilities with deep domain expertise can create sophisticated outputs that exceed what either humans or AI could accomplish independently. Market forces ultimately reward quality over quantity. In a world flooded with AI generated content, authentic human insight becomes more valuable, not less. The most successful AI users will be those who maintain agency over strategic decisions while leveraging automation for tactical execution. Historical lessons. How we've navigated cognitive disruption before. Historical perspective provides essential context for evaluating AI's cognitive impact. Every major information technology has triggered fears about mental decline. Yet human intellectual capacity has consistently expanded rather than contracted over time. The printing press faced fierce opposition in the 15th century. Critics argued that readily available books would weaken human memory, since people would no longer need to memorize texts. Religious authorities worried about the spread of heretical ideas. Scholars feared that cheap books would diminish the value of education and careful study. Instead, the printing press triggered an explosion of literacy, learning, and intellectual development. Rather than weakening memory, it freed human cognitive capacity for higher order thinking. The availability of written knowledge allowed scholars to build more sophisticated arguments, explore complex ideas, and develop nuanced understanding across disciplines. The Industrial Revolution sparked similar concerns. Luddites literally destroyed machinery, fearing that automation would eliminate human value and purpose. The transition was indeed painful for many workers, but the long-term result was unprecedented prosperity and expanded human capability. Rather than reducing humans to irrelevance, industrialization created new roles, requiring greater education, technical knowledge, and strategic thinking. Computer adoption in the 1980s generated familiar anxieties. Critics worried that word processors and spell check would harm writing skills, calculators would weaken mathematical ability, and databases would reduce the need for memorization and deep knowledge. Instead, these tools democratized complex capabilities and enabled more sophisticated work across countless fields. The pattern is remarkably consistent. Initial resistance, transitional disruption, then adaptation and cognitive elevation. Each technological leap eliminates certain skills while creating demand for new ones. Factory workers became machine operators, then supervisors, then engineers. Manual calculation gave way to statistical analysis and strategic modeling. Physical strength became less valuable than technical knowledge and creative problem solving. AI represents the latest chapter in this ongoing story. Rather than making humans obsolete, it's likely to follow the historical pattern of eliminating routine cognitive work while creating demand for higher level capabilities. The transition requires adaptation and learning, but history suggests will emerge with expanded rather than diminished intellectual capacity. Economist Paul David's research on technological adaptation reveals that the benefits of major innovations often take decades to fully manifest as institutions, education systems, and cultural norms adjust. The printing press didn't immediately create the Renaissance. It enabled the conditions for intellectual flourishing that emerged over generations. Similarly, AI's cognitive benefits may not be fully apparent until human systems adapt to leverage its capabilities effectively. The future of human AI synergy, beyond individual capability. The most compelling vision of AI development involves sophisticated collaboration rather than simple automation. Rather than replacing human intelligence, AI systems can amplify it in ways that expand the boundaries of what individuals and teams can accomplish. Eric Brynjolfsson at Stanford distinguishes between substitution AI that replaces human workers and complementary AI that augments human capability. His research suggests that the greatest economic and social benefits emerge from augmentation rather than replacement. When humans and AI systems work together effectively, the combination often outperforms either working alone. This synergy appears across multiple domains. In drug discovery, AI systems can rapidly analyze molecular structures and predict interactions, while human scientists provide biological intuition and safety considerations. Financial analysis combines AI pattern recognition with human judgment about market psychology and strategic implications. Creative writing merges AI language generation with human insight about meaning, emotion, and narrative structure. The legal profession offers a particularly clear example of beneficial human AI collaboration. Junior associates traditionally spend countless hours on document review, tedious work that provides limited learning opportunities. AI systems can handle much of this routine analysis, freeing new lawyers to focus on client interaction, strategic thinking, and complex problem solving. Rather than eliminating entry-level positions, this shift could make legal careers more intellectually rewarding from the beginning. PwC's economic modeling suggests that AI could contribute $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030, primarily through productivity gains from human AI collaboration rather than pure automation. The largest benefits emerge when AI handles routine cognitive work, while humans focus on creative problem solving, relationship management, and strategic decision making. The creative potential of human AI collaboration may prove most significant in the long term. Writers working with sophisticated AI systems might develop narratives with complexity and depth that surpass individual human capability. The AI can manage intricate plot details, maintain consistency across vast fictional universes, and generate creative variations, while human authors provide emotional insight, thematic coherence, and artistic vision. This collaborative model requires new skills and frameworks for thinking about creativity, authorship, and intellectual property. But the potential for expanding human creative capacity seems enormous. Just as photography didn't diminish painting, but created an entirely new artistic medium, AI collaboration might enable forms of creative expression that we can barely imagine today. Conclusion: embracing AI as our intellectual ladder. After months of observing AI's impact across markets, creative industries, and intellectual work, I've reached a conclusion that cuts against contemporary pessimism. AI isn't diminishing human intelligence. It's creating unprecedented opportunities for cognitive elevation. The delegation of routine mental work to AI systems frees human minds for the complex, creative, and strategic thinking that represents our highest capabilities. Rather than making us lazy or dependent, effective AI usage demands sophisticated oversight skills, strategic thinking, and deeper domain expertise. The most successful practitioners become cognitive orchestrators, managing systems and making decisions that require wisdom, judgment, and creative insight. Historical precedent supports optimism about our adaptive capacity. From the printing press through the Industrial Revolution to the computer age, humans have consistently leveraged new tools to expand rather than contract intellectual capability. Each transition eliminated certain skills while creating demand for more sophisticated ones. AI continues this pattern at an accelerated pace and expanded scale. The risks are real: complacency, intellectual shortcuts, and overdependence on automated systems. But these challenges reflect human nature rather than technological determinism. Market forces will ultimately reward quality, insight, and genuine value creation over superficial automation. Those who maintain agency over strategic decisions while leveraging AI for tactical execution will thrive in the emerging economy. The fundamental question isn't whether AI will make us dumber. History suggests it won't. The question is how much smarter and more capable we can become through thoughtful collaboration with systems that amplify our cognitive strengths while handling our routine limitations. As the afternoon shadows lengthened across my study, I realized this debate reflects a deeper choice about how we view human potential. We can fear new tools and cling to familiar constraints, or we can embrace the opportunity to transcend cognitive limitations that have constrained us for generations. The evidence points toward elevation, not decline. The only question is whether we'll have the wisdom to climb the ladder that AI represents or remain paralyzed by fears of heights we've never experienced. The future belongs to those who understand that intelligence isn't a zero sum game between humans and machines, but a collaborative enterprise that can expand the boundaries of what both can achieve. AI isn't making us dumber, it's revealing just how much smarter we can become.